Hey YouTube, it's Jay. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about being an introvert.
Hey, haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, what's up?
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm just making a video about being an introvert and stuff.
Oh, an introvert. Yeah, you are a bit weird, aren't you?
Not exactly.
You're kind of like shy.
No.
You kind of got low self-esteem and anxiety. You don't like people. You're just, a weirdo.
No, man. That's not what an introvert is.
You sure?
Man, forget this. Okay, so no surprise, there's a lot of misconceptions around what it means to be an introvert, and to be honest, it's quite overwhelming when you live that life full time. So today I'm going to talk about what an introvert is, what an introvert is not, but more specifically, my own experiences with traveling alone, solo, as an introvert. Okay, so introverts aren't automatically weird. We don't hate people. We aren't antisocial. We don't have low self-esteem. I mean, we're not more likely to have low self-esteem than an extrovert because I think quite highly of myself, in a modest way, of course. So a way of thinking about it is that introverts and extroverts have different arousal baselines. Stick with me. So extroverts have naturally lower baselines of arousal, which means they engage in thrill-seeking behavior and, extreme excitement to get to a level of satisfaction. Introverts have naturally high baselines of arousal, so thrill-seeking behavior is too overwhelming for us. So we like to engage in things that are a little bit more calming so that we don't get overwhelmed. Another way of thinking about it, which most people are familiar with, is that we recharge differently. Extroverts get their energy from being around a bunch of people and they're excited, and that's how they get their energy. Whereas introverts, we get our energy from being alone and just kind of getting time to recharge. Me personally, I am literally exhausted after a huge social function or being around a lot of people for a long time, or even a lot of people for a small amount of time. I become drained. Like my energy, I actually get like tired and I need days to recoup. So like, don't talk to me because I need some time to gather myself. More specifically, what is it like to travel alone as an introvert? Honestly, it is one of my favorite things. It is the best thing I've ever discovered. I've been to close to 20 countries. I've been to France 3 times because I love croissants. And at least half of the time, if not probably more than half of the time that I have traveled, it's been by myself. It's been as a solo traveler, just me, my backpack, and my cell phone fully charged, because that's what matters. So it is honestly, I suggest anyone doing it, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert or an ambivert. The first pro of traveling alone when you're an introvert is that it is a good time to clear your head. It's like one of the only acceptable times to tell people to leave you alone. If on a normal day of the week when you're home and it's a Tuesday and you tell someone, hey, don't message me, you're rude. Whereas if you say, I'm on holiday, I won't be near my phone, then it's like, good. So it's a good time to clear your head and to be away from employers, family, even friends, just to be completely alone. Also, with your head being clear versus being with a lot of people traveling, or even one person traveling, you get to experience the city from a different lens versus having someone talking to you the whole time. You get to notice things in a little bit more detail, in my opinion anyway. The second pro to traveling alone as an introvert is that because I am by myself and I don't have other people to cater to or their needs, or speaking when I really don't feel like speaking, is that I stay closer to my baseline of arousal so I can do other things that without being overwhelmed, such as meeting locals. I end up meeting quite a few people when I travel to different countries, and I am still in contact with them, either closely or loosely in contact with them today, because I had like that extra energy to give to, new people versus, going with friends, which is always fun. But meeting locals is like an entirely different experience. Like, you don't want to go to a country and kind of only be with your friends and go to the most popular touristy places. So when I go to other countries and I meet locals, and I meet people who are actually from that country, they can tell me places that like not a lot of tourists know of, or they aren't that popular, or like these beautiful little spots that I wouldn't have known otherwise. And obviously, it's just good to have friends in different countries, to be honest, and get to experience the culture from, you know, a local's point of view versus, going to London and like, I'm going to go to the London Eye. Well, of course you are, because you're a tourist. So one example of this is that my first time going to Paris, I was using a language app before I had even planned a trip, trying to learn French. I've been trying to learn French on and off for a couple years now. Trying to learn French. And most language apps allow you to speak to people who are native to that tongue, for obvious reasons, because you can learn better that way. And I was speaking to a guy, and when I planned my trip to Paris, I was like, hey, I'm going to be in Paris. Do you want to meet up? And he was like, yeah. And it was actually so awesome. We met up, and he was just so awesome and so kind. And he kind of showed me around, and we went to the Eiffel Tower. And while we were at the top of the Eiffel Tower, he kind of like pointed out things in the distance, kind of giving me like this history lesson that people pay money for, when you're a tourist and they give you the headphones and you walk around in line. I was getting it for free by someone who I'm still close to, not close to, someone who I still am in loose contact with on Instagram. Hi, Anthony. He's pretty awesome. So I thought that was like an extremely incredible experience that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Because if I was traveling with other people, there's no way I would have had the energy to meet new people. It just would have been too much. I wouldn't have been able to handle the people that were already with me. So the times I have traveled with other people, I don't know why I'm saying people as if it's plural. I have only ever traveled with one other person, one close friend or a partner that I was dating at that time. I have never gone into a group, because traveling with a group is, I just imagine that as crazy, because a night out in a club with multiple people is ridiculous, because everyone has their needs, everyone wants to do different things. You have your extroverts, because a bunch of introverts, going to a club. I've never been with a bunch of my introvert friends and we're like, let's go to the club. No. So most likely there's an extrovert there and you get super overwhelmed. So traveling with extroverts, extroverts and introverts together, would just be overwhelming. So I usually have one other friend who is also, like, literally, I think all of them have also been introverts. And it's not as overwhelming, but still, I personally prefer traveling alone. Because for me, traveling is a full-on experience. It's not about adding another country to my list or taking selfies or adding pictures to IG and Facebook. It's a full-on experience. When I travel to different countries, I like to try to learn hi, bye, where's the toilets in the native language. It's a full-on experience. And when you travel with some people, I've been with people who, small little day trips, and they want to go to the club. I'm like, we have a club where we're at. Like, that's not fun to me. So, traveling with one other person, and they have to be quite similar to myself, with being an introvert who generally enjoys traveling and who's not just trying to post selfies on Instagram for clout. No shade. The only negative I can really think of when it comes to traveling alone is that obviously it can be dangerous. So how I combat this is that I always, some people might say I'm bourgeois, but I always make sure I get a really nice hotel in a nice area. I don't really care how much it costs. Look at the reviews, somewhere where they're used to having a lot of tourists. I'm careful as to what countries I visit, because as a black person, I cannot go anywhere. As a gay person, I cannot go anywhere. And even with an American accent, I can't go anywhere. So I do my research on the countries before I visit about how they are with black, gays, and Americans. I mean, black and gay more so. I haven't really been to many countries that are like anti-American and not also on the ban list, the travel ban list. So do my research, as well as when I go to these places alone, I'm always back inside before it gets super dark, or I'm staying close to the hotel. Maybe if the hotel has a nice restaurant downstairs, I'm at the bar by myself, to be honest. Like, I'm in the hotel before it gets dark. So those are the three things I do to combat it. I make sure there's a nice hotel with high ratings, At least 3 stars at the very least, 4 or 5 preferred. Just because, not to be bougie, but there is a correlation between, these high ratings and safety. I mean, let's be honest, high security in these places. I do my research about their views on being gay and being black in these countries that I visit, especially when I'm alone. And I make sure that I'm in the hotel before it gets too dark. But other than that, traveling as an introvert anyway is extremely satisfying. I don't get bored, obviously. I think that's something that an extrovert might struggle with. They'll get bored, or well, extrovert probably just end up meeting a whole bunch of locals, aren't they? I like to meet one local, not a whole group, because that's too much. So yeah, I would suggest, like I said in the beginning, I would suggest anyone to travel alone, whether you're an extrovert, an introvert, or an ambivert. It's like an experience like no other. Just all of it. Just booking the trip and getting on a plane, and even the struggles. Like when you're at the airport and you have to go to the bathroom and you have luggage on you and you gotta take the luggage in the stall with you. I like the entire experience. I consider myself a pretty pro traveler. When I do travel with other people, I'm usually the one most prepared. I have my outlet charger that is all in one. It has the European outlet, the UK outlet, the Australian outlet, the US outlet, and then I have all these like things. I'm always prepared. I have my phone fully charged. Like, I enjoy it. It's so awesome. I think I can get around in probably any country. Like, as long as my phone is charged, I'm good. But that's just me personally. So I want to hear from other people. In the comments, tell me your experiences with traveling alone, if you have, or if you have not traveled alone, would you consider it? Do you think it's too dangerous? I want to hear other people's opinions, because I just think it's the best thing since sliced bread, and I don't see how anyone could hate it. But that's just me personally. So in the comments, let me know your opinion on traveling alone, whether you've done it before or not. So that is it from me, my opinions on traveling alone as an introvert, trying to stay close to my baseline of arousal so I don't get overwhelmed with too many humans. If you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell next to it so that you don't miss out on when I post new content. I post every week, at least once a week. And that's it. See you next time. Bye.